I had a dream that I died but didn't feel the fear of giving up. I fell 50 feet from an old red oak. All the branches broke when lightning struck. I sank into the ground and I swam with the rocks and the bones of the birds left before. And me, I couldn't be happier then. I had learned what I was living for. That's the first verse of a song called As a Tree that I wrote when I was 22 years old. It was a song that helped me find my voice as a songwriter, a song that helped me confront the fears that I was feeling at the time. I'm grateful for that song. Are there any songwriters in the house today? Any performers? Music appreciators? Yeah. We can all agree that music holds a vital place in culture, community, both individually for every person. We all have our favorite artists. Also, as a community, it brings us all together in celebration of life. I occupy a unique space because not only am I a music appreciator, a performer, I'm also a songwriter. I write songs about death, not exclusively about death, but I write what I believe in. I write what I feel, and for the last 10, 15 years of my life, I've been feeling a lot into that word and what it means. I've been blessed with the opportunity to perform my songs on many stages across this country and also abroad, sometimes to 50 people in a house, sometimes to 100 people at a bigger venue, sometimes to 800 to 2,000 people at a big music festival. I've had amazing experiences as a performer, as a musician. And I'm grateful for every single one of them. Each one of them teaches me how to be a better singer, a better songwriter, and communicate my feelings with an audience. To be heard, like in this scenario, is an amazing gift. To be singing songs that I've written and have people sing along is an amazing gift. So I've made a career for myself as a songwriter. I'm going to continue to do that. I've made a career for myself as a musician. It's a hard path, but I'm embarking on it. It wasn't always easy, though. I became a songwriter partly by choice and partly by necessity. When I was 15 years old, in my adolescence, I had my first panic attack. It was a panic attack that lasted for a day, lasted for a week, lasted for a month. And at that moment, I knew it wasn't going to go away. I knew these moments of panic were permanent in a way. And it scared me to death, literally. I would be in high school, sitting at my desk. My heart would be beating out of my chest. And I would think, all right, today's the day. Today's the day that I'm going to die. I'm going to have a heart attack today. It didn't happen. But that was my fear during that time. I would have a simple headache. And I would think, oh, today's that day. I'm going to die today. I would have a stroke or an aneurysm because of a simple headache. My hands would be sweating at my desk. And I was afraid to tell anybody about my experiences because I didn't want to have medicine. I didn't want to be a victim. I didn't want to be a burden to anybody because of what was happening inside of me. These psychotic experiences taught me that I needed to cope. And at the time, I felt like I had to do it alone. So enter music. Music has always been a vital ally for me. When I was going through that time in my life, people had told me when I was growing up that music is a good relaxation technique. Music can help you cope with hard things in your life. And I thought, me thinking I'm going to die every day is probably a hard thing in life to think about all the time. So music was there. It gave me focus. It gave me a priority. It gave me a sense of purpose. And I never put it down. I started when I was 10, had that experience when I was 15, through my later adolescence and my young adulthood, and I never put down my instrument. It was there when I needed it. I would sing, I would play cover songs, I would play my guitar, I would play piano, sing music. It always was a ally for me. Music transformed my experience from that fear into a way to express my fears. Death, singing about death, brought me closer to living a fuller life. I wrote that song when I was 22 years old. That song, As a Tree, that I started singing. There's a line in it that goes, I had a dream that I died but didn't feel the fear of giving up. Those words, when I first sang them, I wasn't trying to write those words, they just came through me. Not giving up. Okay, persevere. It's a good symbol for my life. Persevere through these times when you're experiencing death. Persevere through these times where you're experiencing the fear of death, of eternity. And now, your ally, music, use music to cope with it, to learn from it, to accept it. To be 15 years old and thinking about your death all the time, I've been kind of doing that for the last 17 years. I'm young. I only have a few gray hairs, I know. But I've been thinking about and daydreaming about my death for a long time. And through that, I've written songs. I've written many, many songs about death, but there are two songs in particular today that I want to showcase. The first song I want to talk about is a song called The Duet. It's a love song about a couple drifting off into the abyss of the ocean through a tsunami. It's not quite Romeo and Juliet. There's no poison in my death song. There's immense suffering, sure, but this couple in this song go willingly to their death. Well, they don't go out and try to die in the ocean. They get swept out, but in that experience, they're accepting. And they're together. They have allies. The last verse in that song, I think, encompasses a lot of what I believe to be true. That this little last bit holds a lot of weight in the song for me. Has a lot of meaning. I talk about what it would feel like to have your lungs full of water. What it would feel like to have your beloved drift away into the darkness. So soft we are, just like the curves of a harp. My chest like a drum, like a smoking cigar. My bones, my body, my delicate heart. My darling love, my oldest friend. Why must we say goodbye again? One day we'll die like lovers do. You remember me, I'll remember you. When my partner Jackie and I sing that whole song, sometimes there's not a dry eye in the audience. Sometimes there's not a dry eye in between us singing that song. It's not because I want to write sad songs about death. It's because I want to write songs about death that empower life. The second song I want to talk about is called the Anthem. It's a song that I wrote maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and it details some moments in my life in between birth and at some point, my death. I've made all these choices. We all have these choices in between birth and death. And this song starts out with kind of an homage to Ashland and also what it would be like to live to be 200 years old, what that would mean. Would I use a cane? Would I have a long wizard beard? Would I have long eyebrows or something? I don't know. So when I pass, I hope it's in the summer of 2186. I'll be 200 years old and still playing music with my great, 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 great grandkids. I'll still have all of my teeth. I'll have no need for a pair of glasses. Here's my secret. I'll tell you the truth. Downtown Ashland has a fountain of youth. 2 years ago, my grandmother died. She was a beloved member of our family, and part of the reason I think that I gravitated towards music in such a focused, determined way. She was the diva of St. Isaac Jogues Parish in Berwyn, Pennsylvania. She had a pitch-perfect soprano that when she was 14 years old, some Broadway scouts came to her parents and said, "Your Gloria, she's got something that nobody else has. She needs to come to Broadway and audition." And unfortunately, her parents said no. But she became the diva of her parish. And she sang and sang in this amazingly perfect soprano operatic voice. It's to this day one of the most amazing things that I've experienced, her singing. In the last 10 years of her life, she suffered from severe Alzheimer's disease. 10 years of Alzheimer's disease. My grandfather, bless his soul, he took care of her for 9.5 of those 10 years. It was only the last 6 months that it became too much and she had to go to a memory care unit. I wrote a verse for her in that Anthem song because she touched me as a human being so deeply that I wanted to sing about her. Now, my grandmother doesn't remember me, Allentown or the Egypt Star Bakery, but still, she's singing arias that nobody knows, like a white bird drifting off in the snow. These things happen when we get old. We lose our bodies, but never the soul. The chorus of that song, I think, ties it all together, that we have our birth. We have all these choices that we make throughout our lives, and then our ultimate journey into the next. It goes like this. I was born, and I will die, so in between, I'll be alive. And we were born, and everyone will die. So in between, let's live our lives. When I was 15 years old, I started contemplating my death. When I was 16, 17, 18, I was in these severe panic attacks that I didn't have, or I felt I didn't have support in. I felt I had to do it alone, but I always had music. Music was my lifeline. Music helped me express those fears that were spinning around at rapid fire in my mind, that my physical body was gonna just snap off all of a sudden. And in coping with that reality in my psychology, I learned to confront death. I learned to confront that crocodile lurking in the waters. I learned to confront the mirror of what death provides. So when I first started singing, I sang because it made me feel good. I played music because it made me feel alive. I started singing about death because it did the same thing. It felt the most potent, the most important thing I could sing about because it alleviated some of that stress. Eventually, I felt my heart beating, and it was probably because I exercised. I had a headache, it's probably because I was dehydrated. Those fears lessened over time as I was confronting death more and more. And now I treat death as a great teacher, as an ally, as something that brings me here and now, not somewhere else in the future, but here and right now. So when I first started playing music, singing, I sang for my sanity. Now I sing for joy and to inspire others to do the same. I sing about death to empower my life. What do you sing about? Thank you.